What up, yos? So the Schick Global GT3 Series has officially announced that it's going to be kicking off on the 15th of August, where we will be doing the tier qualifiers at Long Beach. And while the full track list has not been released just yet, at least we know that we can spend some time at Long Beach finding the car that we're going to be using for the rest of the championship. So while I won't be racing this season, I do want to still help some of those newer drivers that are coming through the ranks and giving them the delirious track guide on how I would approach the tracks and what I'm looking for each of them. Disclaimer time. This is not the how to set up your car and get the fastest lap time. As you can see, I'm in an Acura NSX. I've taken the loose setup, haven't changed tires, haven't changed fuel. This is the where are my braking points, what am I looking for, where am I turning in, what curbs can I use. So for those Bravo drivers aspiring for Alpha tier, I hope this helps you, and to some of our Alpha champions, there might be something in here that you pick up. So let's get into the qualifying track guide for the Schick Global GT3 Series, proudly supported by Luxury Time Premium Timepieces, Bulldog Skincare for Men, and nag.co.za. So what I'll do is just break down the detail of each of the corners and then just let it flow into one wonderful, beautiful symphony. So we cross the line, we start squeezing to the inside just to hug this inside wall because we want to try and get as far to the right as possible for turn number 1. Okay, so let's just stop it here quickly. This is what I'm looking for. I want a consistent reference of where I'm going to be braking every lap. So specifically here in this car right now, it is 2 car lengths away from the 400 meter mark. Then I apply my brakes in a straight line until my turning point. And this is where trail braking is now very important. I'm at the 200 meter mark. I'm now starting to slowly feed the car in, but at the same time slowly start coming off the brakes. And the beauty about turn 1 is that you are able to use the curb. But now what I want to show you is that, as you can see, I'm now approaching the curb and I'm now hitting the apex, having applied full throttle with the straight line to the fountain section. So my braking point here is the Bubba sign as soon as it comes into view on the left hand side. So you'll see I'm now hard on the brakes, but I'm gently feeding the car in so I'm able to aim onto that apex, but I'm going to be squeezing that throttle, waiting for that exit point now. Now full throttle, straight line to make sure that you get the maximum drive out of here. These lines at turn 4 are the perfect place for you to brake and start feeding that car in. Stay off this inside curb, but start adding throttle as you approach it and get maximum exit out of this corner. The dreaded turn number 5 and its negative camber on the exit. So these black lines are the perfect braking point. So at the Firestone sign, that's where I'm going to start turning the car in and getting ready for this apex. So at the 100 board, this is where I now start coming off the brakes and aiming for the curb. And yes, I do use the curb, but what it does is it loads up the left hand side of the car, so as soon as it's landed, I'm able to apply full throttle. Okay, now we head to turn 6 and 7, but 7 is essentially the exit of 6. The braking point is at the 300 meter mark, but this is where trail braking is going to be very, very important. So braking hard at the 300 board in a straight line up until the Verizon board. This is where we're going to want to start feeding the car in. Now slowly feeding that car in, coming off the brakes and gently applying the accelerator, so by the time you hit the apex you're able to get full acceleration on the exit towards turn number 7. And my suggestion is don't go too wide on the exit because you got to get back to the left for turn 8. So between the 300 and the 200 board, this is where you want to be braking in a straight line leading up until this little piece of the wall here just by the 100, because that's going to be the turning point for this corner. So going with the trail braking, slowly adding the power, but you want to be apexing with this red line between the center of your car and make sure that you've got full power on the exit. Get a straight line to stop that overseer snap on exit. So now it's maximum sack down east seaside way towards turn number 9, and this section is extremely critical. the braking point's at the 300 meter board, but now you need to get the car slowed down enough to turn in and set yourselves up for 10 and 11. So braking hard in a straight line at the 100 board, and here you want to be aiming for this curb here on the inside. You can get one wheel over it, but just be careful, these track limits are quite hectic here. But here you want to remain center of the track, because you need to start getting yourself set up for the sequence of turn number 10. So this little line right here is where I'm going to be coming off the power, using it as my turning point for the first phase of the 3 parts of this corner. So now I'm coming off the power, I'm aiming for this curb on the inside, and I want to get a lot of my left wheels over it. This is now going to set me up to take a nice tight line through here, and then give me a good run for the second phase of turn 10, and that is getting right up against this inside wall, and then into phase 3 is now braking in a straight line for turn number 11, and the start of the black lines is the perfect braking point. The trick here is to turn in late, because you want to apex on the outside of the apex, which is now going to allow you to open up this corner and get a good exit and then throttle down nice and early. And now let's take a look of how it all comes together in one seamless lap. And there you have it, guys, the delirious guide around Long Beach. I hope there's a few pointers that you're able to take with you, and I hope that it helps you for the qualifyings on the 15. Looking forward to seeing you there, and until then, we'll get those registrations open on Tuesday. And until then, guys, keep racing, keep practicing, and thanks for watching. Yos.